We just got back from London, UFC 286. Close fight with Leon Edwards and Kamar Usman, I guess, in some respects, but largely this was a masterpiece on the feet by Leon Edwards. And I know you spoke with Colby Covington yesterday on the Believe You Me YouTube channel, Michael Bisping's YouTube channel, if you want to check that out. As an American, by the way, even though Colby and I aren't necessarily seeing eye to eye these days, I have to admire, if not acknowledge, his patriotism, right? How often does somebody actually get out there and say, you know, I got to get one back on the UK because Edwards just beat Usman? It's very rare that American fighters sort of, you know, claim the stars and stripes the way he does. So I appreciated that at the very least.
I have to disagree with you there, John. You know, Americans are some of the most patriotic people I've ever met in my life. Everywhere you go in my neighborhood, there's the stars and stripes hanging outside the front door. And fair play. Good for them. They should be proud. And I hope your kids are okay, John. I hope you're okay. I hope you haven't been
Yeah, no, we're good.
I mean, come on, Colby, come on. I asked him about that yesterday. I'm like, come on, because, you know, he plays a character. But going back to Leon Edwards was very, very good. I thought Kamaru, he tried his best. The reality is, who knows? His problems with his knees are well documented. He's had a long, storied career. And I always say this, he defended the belt 5 times. You know, you go up, you get to the top of the mountain, the absolute pinnacle, which 0.1% of the fighting population do. To stay there for the length of time that he did was fantastic. But you don't live there. You don't take permanent residency at the pinnacle, at the top of Mount Everest. You can't do it, you know, whether it is Mount Everest for real or a hypothetical one. No, what's the word I'm looking for? A figurative one. You're going to get blown off. Yeah. You're going to get knocked off. You can't stay there forever. He did multiple years. It's incredible. But right now is the time of Leon Edwards.
So how do you handicap a fight between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington? As you said on your show earlier this week, seems like this is an eventuality. This is going to be the fight. Leon Edwards presumably will be convinced monetarily or otherwise to sign on the dotted line. How do you handicap that fight? Because Leon Edwards, to me, is just a totally different beast than he was even 18 months ago.
Without question. And I thought Teddy Atlas said it best. Remember that tweet? When somebody becomes a fighter, they automatically get 30% better. And that's because then it all sinks into the word that they've been doing. There's no more doubt, you know, because your coaches tell you you're great and you feel like you're great and you have confidence, but maybe you've had ups and downs along the way. But then you become champion. And when you knock out the pound for pound the way that he did, yeah, all of a sudden it all clicks and you believe it all. So you do get better because the mind controls everything. It separates the men from the boys. Now, Colby Covington and Kamar Usman, for Leon, the comparison. For Leon Edwards, this is probably the best time to fight Colby because all the hard work that he did against Kamar Usman, 2 back-to-back camps, thinking about nothing but a wrestler first, and a guy that can use the hands to set up the striking, that's all fresh. It's all there. It's current. It's ready to go again. You know, he's just come off the back of beating a wrestler twice in a row. So parlay that into fighting Colby Covington. Now, Colby, I got to choose my words carefully because last thing I want to do is disrespect the champ Kamar Usman because he'll forever be a champion, the career that he had. I thought he looked a little slow. I thought he didn't look his best, whether that was because he was a little gun shy, maybe it was because of the knockout, maybe because of the wear and tear in the body or the knees. I just didn't feel like it was the same Kamara that showed up for the first fight. Yeah. Okay. Even though it went to a decision. I think with Colby, you know, I don't think he's going to have those. By the way, I don't feel like this makes Colby the victor in the fight at all, but I think he's going to push the pace a little bit more. I don't think he will be quite as hesitant. I don't think he'll be a little not afraid, but a little more, you know, the consequences of engaging in the fight won't be quite as relevant in his mind. Right. You know, so I think Colby's going to go at him a lot more. I think he's a little bit faster, but I don't think he hits as hard. But still, I think the stamina, the pace that he can push, it does present a couple of slightly new problems for Leon, but essentially kind of a similar fight.
It was an interesting conversation you had with Colby in terms of the nutrition being sort of at the forefront of his key to outlasting everybody, right? He's always told us, Colby has, that he had a third lung from the time he was playing soccer when he was 8 years old. But I thought it was interesting that he led the dance with his diet when you guys had that conversation. So you're not coming to Miami, Florida, UFC 287, Alex Pineda. You got the whole week off.
Never been to Miami in my life. I hear nothing but good things. I hear it's a wild place. I hear the people are awesome. I hear the women are beautiful. The weather's fantastic, and the fights are going to be ridiculous. And I'm not going to be there.
That's really too bad. It's 45 minutes from my front door. I know we'll get you to South Florida eventually. And I'm not trying to suggest that you and Rebecca should move down here, but there is a lot to like.
I would move there.
I would
move there. But let me tell you, I hear about Florida crazy people. Is there a lot of crazy people in Florida? Do a lot of people embody the spirit of Mike Perry? Because if they do, I'm coming.
Yes. No, I think you fit right in. I mean, you and I both have a little bit of crazy in us, right? I think a lot of people out there in the public eye, perpetually misunderstood and have some crazy in them. So, all right, so you're not covering Miami for BT Sport for us. You'll enjoy the time. Do you know?
I will be covering for BT Sport, but remotely.
Remotely, okay. So you can catch Michael Bisping's coverage for BT Sport in advance of UFC 287 and through. Do you know right now who's the betting favorite for this fourth combat sports meeting between Pereira and Adesanya?
I don't. I'm going to say, is it Israel Adesanya?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. Slightly
and it makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it
makes sense. I mean, he was masterful throughout 4 rounds. He was the better grappler. He took him down. He almost finished him in the first round. He was clearly the better kickboxer. However, history has shown that every time they compete, one man wins every time. And that has been Alex Pereira. Now, you could argue that, well, it's just an odds game, a numbers game, because eventually Izzy's going to win one because, if they fight 10 times, maybe Pereira wins 1. If they fight 5, maybe Izzy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So maybe that one, maybe that's approaching. I think for Izzy, he can take away a lot of credit to himself in that fight. He did well. He was the more technical fighter. He did get the takedowns. He was trending to win. But much like Leon Edwards in that 5th round or the end of the 4th round when Dave Lavelle said to him, come on, you got to get going. The team of Pereira said the same thing, and he went out there, and that will say to him, it will echo the sentiment that if I really go for it, I can finish this guy, but I just took my time, and it took me until the 5th round to really dig deep and take a risk. However, you take a risk, you walk onto shots. Zig when you should have zagged, all that good stuff. So I think Pereira's going to come out way more aggressive. I think Izzy, it wouldn't surprise me if he shoots a double leg takedown in round 1, because Adesanya, for all of his attributes, he is one of the most coordinated people that you'll ever see. Yeah. I mean, you've seen the breakdancing, you've seen the physical attributes, the things that he can do with his body is ridiculous. I can't dance. I can't break dance. Wow. And I'm not a wrestler, but I could learn how to do a double leg takedown pretty well. I used it to great effect many times throughout my fight career. Brian Stan, I picked him up and slammed him multiple times. If I can do that, if I can learn how to do a double jab right hand, feint that, come on low, level change, grab hold of Brian Stan and pick him up and put him down, well, I'm damn sure that Israel Adesanya can. And he already showed that he was the better grappler in the first matchup in the UFC. So it's a very interesting fight.
And I think you set it up beautifully as usual.